Hi everybody, it's Miss O'Malley from Silvermine Elementary School. We are back for another health lesson. Today we're going to be learning a little bit about first aid and what we would do if there was an emergency or somebody needed first aid. What would you do? So I know you don't have this, but I want you to follow along with me, and then we'll talk a little bit about some of the scenarios. So we're learning about first aid facts. We're going to start right up here. Suppose your little brother falls off his chair. He starts screaming and crying and his arm begins to swell. Would you know what to do? Or suppose you're babysitting for a 2-year-old who thinks it's okay to drink shoe polish, or hot grease from the hamburgers your father's cooking splatters all over his hand. All these things are emergencies. That is, they are medical problems that must be taken care of right away. But before the person can get to a doctor, there are things you could do to keep the problem from getting worse. What you do before you can get to the doctor is called first aid. Sometimes first aid can fix a problem so that the victim does not have to see a doctor at all. To find out how you could help during an emergency, take a look inside. So here we have a little picture of the boy falling off his chair. We have the girl drinking the chemical, and then we have the hot grease from the pan. So those are some things that I want you to think about. What would you do in those situations? Now we're going to turn and we're going to look. It says, watch out for your eyes. We're going to learn a little bit about different emergencies. So we're right up here. Watch out for your eyes. Dust in your eye. Here's an eye problem that everyone has had. You're busy doing something when suddenly a piece of dust flies into your eye. You can hardly see out of that eye because it hurts and gets all watery. What should you do? Just remember that you should never rub your eye because rubbing can scratch it. Instead, pull your top lid down over your bottom lid. Then blink a couple of times so the tears can wash the dust out. If that doesn't work, go into the bathroom and turn the water on so it comes out warm and not too fast. Then hold your eye open with your fingers and put your head under the faucet so that the water can wash the dust out. Now we're going to learn a little bit about a black eye. Some eye problems are more serious than others. For example, if you bump into something or you get hit near the eye, you are probably going to get a black eye. Ice cubes wrapped in a towel will help reduce the puffiness that comes from a black eye with the black eye. If you also have a cut near the eye, wash it with soap and water to kill any germs inside. Then cover the cut with a bandage to keep more germs out. Call your doctor if you see flashing lights or spots or you can't see out of that eye. Chemicals in your eye. Your sister's cleaning the kitchen. She grabs a can of spray cleaner and pushes the button down, but the button is pointing at her eye and some chemical squirts right into her eye. Getting a chemical in the eye is real trouble. What should your sister do? Tell her to run to the sink and turn on the water. Then she should lean her head back under the faucet and hold her eyelids open. That way the water could wash the chemical out. Washing the eye out can hurt, but it's very important that your sister do it for at least 5 minutes. Otherwise, the chemical could burn her eye very badly. After rinsing the eye, your sister should get to the doctor. When we talk about chemicals, we mean things like cleaners, bleach, paint, and paint removers. Chemicals can also get in your eye if you have some on your hand, and if you rub your eyes or some of the chemical splashes as you pour it. Before spraying, always make sure the nozzle is pointing away from you, and never mix different cleaners together because the chemicals in them can bubble up or make a poisonous gas. So we've learned the past couple weeks how important it is to wash our hands, especially during this crazy time with the coronavirus. We should be washing our hands for 20 seconds. Get that soap, rub it in, get some nice warm water, and then put your hands underneath to get that off. We don't want to touch our eyes and we don't want to touch our mouth because we don't know what's on them. Just like they were talking about, there might be a chemical on it. So now we're going to talk a little bit about a bloody nose. It was the bottom of the 9th inning and the bases were loaded. The crowd cheered as Peter, the pitcher, took his place up at bat. He hit the ball and ran to first base and ran smack into Freddie, the first baseman. Peter ended up with a very messy, bloody nose. Coach had Peter sit down. He told Peter to use a tissue, pinch his nose shut, and bend his head forward until the bleeding stopped. That takes about 5 or 10 minutes. Then, Coach told Peter that if he had to blow his nose, to do it gently. Otherwise, the bleeding could start again. Also with bloody noses, If someone you know gets a bloody nose, you could wrap ice cubes in a towel and hold it on the nose. The cold may help the bleeding stop. If you get a bloody nose, lean forward and pinch it closed. Now we're going to learn a little bit about broken bones, which sometimes may happen on the playground, or just, and it could really be anything that you could break a bone, and it kind of swells up, and you need to be super careful with that. So let's read this part right here. Broken bones. Imagine this. You're at your friend's house, but you're supposed to be home before dark. Before you know it, the sun has gone down and you're late. As you run home in the dark, you trip and land hard on your arm. You hear a crack and your arm really hurts. But by the time you get home, it looks swollen. What should you do? Pain and swelling can be signs of a broken bone. First, ask someone to put some ice cubes in a plastic bag or towel and put these on your arm. Remember, ice makes swelling go down. Then, ask that person to find some towels and a pillow and tie your arm close to your chest. That way, the arm can't move on the way to the hospital. A broken bone stays still. To men, remember not to let it bend. The doctor will take an x-ray to see if your arm is definitely broken. If it is, he or she will put some kind of cast or brace on it to keep it from moving while the bones grow back together. The cast will probably have to stay on for 4 to 6 weeks. If someone gets hurt and you think she has a broken bone, remember to try to keep her from moving that bone. If it's an arm or wrist, have her hold it close to her chest and tie it with a towel or belt so she can't move it. If it's a leg or an ankle, tie the leg to a board if you can. Moving a broken bone not only hurts, it can make the break worse. So make sure that if you're playing with your friends or somebody at school and somebody gets hurt, make sure that they don't move. Make sure that you do get a trusted adult so that way that they can get a parent or an administrator or the nurse if you're at school. We're going to read this part. It says, be safe, not sorry. There are a couple of dangers that we haven't talked about. Those are the dangers of taking unhealthy risk or being involved with drugs. How would you handle these situations? Tito watched as Bruce took a drink of beer. Ah, you don't know what you're missing, Bruce said. He handed the bottle to Tito. Tito used the saying no steps to get him out of the situation. So let's take a look at the different steps that Tito took. So he identified the situation. The alcohol is beer and beer is a drug. Should I drink it? Number 2, he said no with words and with his body. Tito said no thanks, I don't drink. He put his hands up to show he didn't want the drink. Number 3, Tito decided to give a reason. He told Bruce, my mom would ground me forever if I had a drink. Number 4, Tito left the situation. He said, hey, I'm really late. I'd better get going. Number 5, Tito told a trusted adult what happened. And then the adult says, I think you did the right thing, Tito. And he was asking his Uncle Louis what he did. So it's really important that if you're in an uncomfortable situation that it's okay to say no sometimes. And make sure that you tell a trusted adult. So lastly, we're going to be reading a little bit about bullies and what that means. So bullies. Bullies make a school feel unsafe. Sometimes they use words, actions, emails, or text messages to hurt others. If there are bullies at your school, it is time to take a stand. If you see bullying, report it. If you are a bully, stop it. If you are being bullied, get help from a trusted adult. Bullying hurts everyone. So now, especially that we're working from home and that we're doing school online, if there's anything that makes you feel uncomfortable, remember that your teachers are there to help you and they're there to talk with you, do video conference calls, you could send them an email, and there's a bunch of different adults that could help you. Remember to stay healthy, keep getting your exercise in. If you want to check out my YouTube page, I have a couple different workouts that you guys could do and some other health videos if you would like. If you want, comment below. Tell me what school that you are watching from because I'd love to know. And keep distance learning. See you guys later. Bye.